Marriage requires sacrifice. Welcome to this, your daily 180 Bible study. Last week we began a discussion looking at Ephesians chapter 5, verses 22 through 33, and talking about a holy marriage. Verse number 27, we find that Christ died for the church to make it a glorious church, a holy church. Isn't that interesting? And there's this interconnectedness that weaves back and forth between marriage and the church. The church is an illustration of marriage, and marriage is an illustration of the church. And marriage is to be holy. It's great to have a happy marriage, but that's not primary. Primary is to make it a holy marriage, because the reality is you could have a happy marriage, but it not be a marriage that's pleasing to God, a marriage that honors God. Well, for it to be a marriage that honors God, it has to require sacrifice. Verse number 22, wives are to submit to their own husbands. The word sacrifice is not used there, but the concept is used. It can be difficult to submit to your husband. And then if you drop down to verse number 25, there we see the idea that husbands are to love their wives just as Christ loved the church and gave himself for her. Sacrifice is so important. When we look at Genesis chapter 22, we find there the story, the historical account, when God told Abraham that he was to offer his son, his only son, the son of promise, Isaac. And he was going to be told to go to a certain mountain, and he went to the land of Moriah, and he was to offer that son. Now, Abraham had great faith, and he believed, we're told in the book of Hebrews chapter 11, that he believed that God would resurrect him. But still, I want you to think about how difficult must that have been. And you know, sacrificing ourselves and sacrificing our pride is so essential in a marriage. And trust me, it doesn't always feel good. Dying isn't a pleasant experience. But if you want to have a holy marriage, you've got to die to your selfishness. You've got to die to your stubbornness. You've got to be willing to die to all those things where you must demand your own way. What you must demand is that you're going to live in accordance with the will of God. We're going to talk some more about this tomorrow.